Good morning to everybody out there. Just want to start off by saying how excited we all are, to start this season at Alabama, especially as it relates to the new coaches, me being one of those guys. We're very excited to start our first season at Alabama. We're looking forward to working with an outstanding collection of coaches and very talented players. Alabama quite obviously has proven to be a very special place to play and coach. I'm very grateful for the opportunity that Coach Saban has given me, and to work and learn from someone like Coach Saban. In my career, I'm going into my 29th year of coaching. That's not something that can be replicated, and so I'm really excited for the opportunity. I've been here for 7 months and I've already learned a ton. We're only 2 days into practice. At this point, I would say, we obviously have a long way to go. But you can tell that this team has put a lot of work into the offseason. I've just really been very impressed with their attitude and their work ethic. The leadership has been good, and I just really, whether it's the returning players or some of the guys that were backup players last year or the incoming freshmen, these guys work really hard. It's been really a joy to coach these guys through the winter conditioning program and spring practice and now into training camp. Just really excited about today's meetings, tomorrow's practice, and just taking it one day at a time and trying to do the best we can to do our part offensively to have a really good football team here at the University of Alabama. So with that, I'll open it up to questions.
Okay, we'll get things started with Cecil Hurt. Cecil, go ahead.
Coach, thank you for doing this.
Yep.
Just from a personal standpoint, the decision to come back to college and not as a head coach, what went into that for you, and what sort of opportunity were you looking for when you made that decision?
Sure. How you doing, Cecil? I appreciate you joining us on the Zoom. Look, I was a college coach, I think, for about 16 years, a pro coach for 12 years. I love college football. I've had great relationships with the players and coaches that I've worked with in the past, and that's the way it's been here. I've really enjoyed being around these guys, these players, this coaching staff. I feel like it's a group that works very hard, that works together. Obviously, the tone is set by Coach Saban and the direction that he wants. We follow that lead, and everybody buys into what the culture of this program has been for the last 14 years, going on 15 years. So, like I said in the opening, I'm very excited about being here. I've really enjoyed my time here, the 7 months I've been here. Just really enjoyed coaching these players, the quarterbacks, the offense, and working with this coaching staff has been really good for me personally.
Okay, we'll go to Michael Casagrande next. Michael, go ahead.
Yeah, hey, Bill, I just wonder what makes Bryce Young unique as a quarterback and among quarterbacks you've coached?
Yeah, a lot of these guys, everybody's different. Everybody's got their own unique way of playing the game, their own style of playing. I think when you look at high school football now and you think about the way that high school offenses are run and whether it's spread offenses or, how they operate from the sideline, getting the play in from the sideline, there's just a lot of things that go into how a lot of these guys play, their style. And Bryce, what stands out to me about Bryce is he's been very well coached. He was very well coached in high school, very well coached here last year at Alabama. He's a very bright young man. He works really hard. He's a really good teammate. He cares about the team. And I say that about the whole quarterback room. When you talk about the whole room, Paul Tyson, Jalen Milroe, Braxton Barker, and Stone Hollenbeck, it's a really good room. They care about the team. They all understand their roles on the team and what they have to do individually to get better, to help the team get better. And it's been fun to coach that room.
We'll go to Aaron Suttles.
Bill, I was talking to Christian Hackenberg this spring. He was very complimentary of you. He really enjoyed the relationship that you guys built. He said that to be successful, to play for you, there's got to be a level of trust between you and the quarterback. What goes into that, and how do these quarterbacks start earning your trust?
Yeah, I appreciate Hack saying those things. Hack was a very special player to coach for me while I was at Penn State. I think the quarterback position, the way it's evolved over time, it's really a coach on the field, and that's the way it's been here at Alabama and Alabama's offense, and that's the offense we're running. We're running Alabama's offense, and the quarterback, he has to be very well prepared. from practice to practice, from meeting to meeting, and then quite obviously in the games. Because there's going to be a lot of things with all the multiplicity that you see on defense these days, and especially from our defense every single day. You've got to be able to adjust. You've got to be able to communicate with your teammates, and there has to be a trust developed. Not only a trust of me trusting the quarterback, but the quarterback trusting our offensive staff and me, that we're putting them in the right position to make the right decision. So it's a two-way street when it comes to trust, and that's why that position is so much fun to coach.
We'll go to John Zener with the Associated Press next. John, go ahead.
Good morning, Coach. We've seen several former head coaches kind of relaunch their careers as Saban coordinators. Do you feel like for all the time you've been in coaching, for all the success you've had, that you'll emerge from this, however long you're there, as a better coach? And was that part of the allure of this particular job?
I'll be honest with you, I don't really think about that. I think about what's best for my family, and then I think about career opportunities. My wife, when this opportunity came up, my wife Colleen and I sat down, we talked about it, and we have two teenage sons, and it was a decision that we felt what was best for our family was for me to be able to be a football coach here at Alabama and work for Coach Saban. And that's really what it comes down to. I've enjoyed my time here. I don't really, to be honest with you guys, I'm very focused on what we're doing in our meeting this afternoon as an offense, and then what we're planning for practice tomorrow. And that's really what it's all about. And that's the way it is here at Alabama. You've got to understand the culture when you get here, and you've got to learn fast. And I'm just like any rookie player or any rookie coach that's been here in the past, just trying to do my best to make sure that this team is going to be as good as it can be.
We'll go to Bruce Feldman with Fox next.
Bill, since you've been there, what have you learned about the evolution of the Alabama offense? Like, what looked familiar, what maybe wasn't, and how are you hoping to add to it?
Yeah, I think that Coach Saban, made a good point a couple weeks ago about that at the SEC Media Days, and he's talked to me about that a little bit, and how it has evolved over time, and how each coordinator's put their own touch on it. But at the end of the day, it's the Alabama offense, and when they went from more of a pro style to more of a spread style, and when Coach Kiffin was here, and then obviously Coach Loxley and Coach Dayball, and obviously last year Coach Sarkisian, it's evolved over time with all these great offensive minds that have been here. Every year is different. I think in the end it comes down to who your players are, what can they do best, who your quarterback is, what can he do best, and what's best for the team. So no year is like any other year. So this year will be very different than any other year, and that's just the way it is in football. It's the way it's always been in my career, and these guys are working hard every single day to try to improve.
We'll go to Tony Tsoukalas next. Tony.
Hey, Bill. Kind of speaking to that offensive question, with Bryce Young, you've got a dual threat quarterback. You've coached a variety of different styles of quarterbacks. How do you see that offense adapting around Bryce's skill set, and does he compare to a quarterback that you faced or that you've coached in the past?
I don't really get into comparisons. Everybody I've coached has been very, very different. Whether it was Tom Brady in New England or the guys I've coached over the years, obviously Deshaun Watson in Houston, Ryan Fitzpatrick in Houston, Christian Hackenberg, Matt McGloin at Penn State. These guys that I've coached over the years, everybody brought a little bit of a different skill set each year, and you've got to do what's best for not only them, but also the players around them. So whether it's the receivers, the tight ends, the backs, the offensive line, that all plays out during training camp. You have an idea of how that's going to play out after spring practice, but now this is when the real deal starts in training camp, and you really start to see what your foundation offensively is going to be. Again, it's Alabama offense, and that's what we're running, and we've really enjoyed, especially like Coach Marrone, myself, Coach Gillespie, Coach Swoboda. We've really enjoyed learning this offense and being able to coach the players in this offense.
Okay, we'll go to Dennis Dodd. Dennis, go ahead.
Hey, Bill, nice to see you again.
Good to see you.
I just wondered, the difference between coaching college players and pro players, and how the Penn State experience shaped you.
Yeah, I mean, there's obviously there's a difference when it comes to those guys in the National Football League. It's a business. I mean, they're making money. They're trying to do what's right for their families. They've got to go out there on the field and produce every day. And in college, you're coaching 18 to 22-year-old guys that some of these guys eventually will make money playing football, but they're at a different stage of their career. So just that in and of itself is different. And then obviously. When you talk about college, you're talking about a student athlete. When you talk about a pro football player, you're talking about a guy that's his profession. He's playing football every day. These guys go to class, the summer school, the classes that start in a couple of weeks here. Like these guys are going to class. You're not with them from 7:30 a.m. till 5 o'clock at night like you are in pro football. So you've got to do a really good job of planning your meetings and making sure that you're really on point and prepared for what you have to talk to your players about in college every single minute of the day, because you just don't have as much time. I think my Penn State experience was a great experience. I love Penn State. That was a time at Penn State that was a very difficult time, and we had a great group of people. I think that's always what it's about, and it's something that I said in my opening here about the people here. Obviously Coach Saban, the coaching staff, the players, the support staff around this program is just awesome. And at Penn State at that particular time, we had a really good group of people, and that's what I remember most about that, and making sure that you lean on people that can really help you, good people that can help you.
We'll go to Nick Kelly with Tuscaloosa News. Nick, go ahead.
Hey, Bill, I'm just curious, how would you describe yourself as a play caller?
I think, again, it varies from year to year, based on the type of offensive philosophy that you have, also the type of players you have. I think it depends on how the game's going. I don't think you can really label anybody like, hey, this is what type of play caller he is. It's such a game-to-game process, From one game to the next, the defenses that you're facing are different. The offense that you have may change from game to game. And so I don't think there's anything where you can just say, label this, label that. Not really into labels, just trying to do what's best for Alabama and this football team.
We'll go to John Talty with AL.com.
Hey, Bill, you mentioned him a little bit earlier, but what's it been like getting a chance to work with Coach Marrone again, given the long-standing friendship you guys have had dating back to the Georgia Tech days?
Yeah, it's been awesome. He and I go way back, like you said. I think it's pretty well documented. Our wives were college roommates. We're best friends, and he's been just somebody that's always been a great resource for me. And then to have the opportunity in our careers, to work together at the University of Alabama for Coach Saban, I think that's a pretty cool thing. And we every night, we talk about that before we head home, what a special place this is and how much we enjoy coaching the players here and working with this staff. It's a very unique time in our careers, and we're very grateful for the opportunity that Coach Saban has given us to coach here.
Okay, we got time for a couple more. We'll go to Blake Topmeyer.
Hey, Bill, how would you say the college game has changed since when you were last in it? And would you say it's easier or more challenging to call an offense, college offense now than it was, say, maybe 8 years ago?
Yeah, I think about that a lot. It's an interesting question. I think it's changed a lot. I think that, and again, the last time I was in college, I was in the Big Ten, which is, obviously a little bit different than the SEC. And so in the SEC, when you watch these different defenses, most especially our defense, and you see the multiplicity with which they play defense, whether it's base defense, nickel defense, dime defense, quarter defense, whatever it is, you have to be ready for all kinds of different looks, and you have to prepare your players, but not overload your players with information so that they can play fast. And so I think at the end of the day, what I've seen is just really the multiplicity on defense relative to what I've seen so far, having studied film, and then, going against our defense every day in spring practice and then the first 2 days of fall camp here.
Okay, we'll wrap up with Ryan Hennessy. Ryan, go ahead.
Hey, Coach. Coaching under Belichick, Coach Belichick, and then coming in and working with Coach Saban. I know it's been kind of short so far, but have you had a moment where you're like, wait a minute, that's a little bit of a Belichick and Saban? Have you had some of those moments so far? Or what's kind of the comparisons or differences between them?
Yeah, I don't, again, I've been asked this question quite a bit over the last 7 months. I'm not going to get into comparisons. They're two very different people, but both great football coaches. They care about their organizations, they care about their coaches, they care about their teams, they have different styles, they have great football minds. And for me in my career to have the opportunity to work for both of these guys, and I don't think there's many guys that can say that, right? I think there's only a few that can say that have that have worked for both. I take a lot of pride in that. I take a lot of pride in being able to say that I've worked for both guys, Coach Saban and Coach Belichick.